Hello and welcome to another tactical Tuesday meta analysis Monday thing. Yay! Let's begin.
The Dark King.
Meta Monday analysis on a Tuesday, or as I'm going to call it now, Tactical Meta Tuesdays. TMT, it's competitive. TMT, it's competitive. Nah, 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 nah. As you can see, I have tons of fun with this sort of thing. So let's sit back, relax. We have 3 different events to go over today. So thank you for tuning in, whether you caught it live on Facebook or you're catching the recording here on YouTube's or on your favorite recording thingy as well. So let's dive right in. First, we have the Stump Town Stomp, which happened in Portland, Oregon. It was a 34 or 32 person GT with 5 rounds, I want to say. It's 37, sorry, 30, almost 38 people, 5 rounds, 1 undefeated player. Then we had the Armageddon Series Coastal Assault, which was 5 rounds as well. 44 players began that event. And then we had Twisted Onslaught 2, which was 6 rounds, and that was 30 players. That was another GT this weekend. So 3 events that I'll be touching on. The Winter Team Championship happened this weekend as well in Croatia or in Serbia. Hello, welcome Linus, welcome Irvin, and then we'll kind of talk a little about things to watch out for in the meta at the moment as we dive into a couple of different things as well. So, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below, but we shall get started. This is, of course, week 6 or 7 of the Marine meta, which is, I guess, how that works. The Marine meta. Hello, Tom. How are you? So, in first place at the Stump Town Stomp, we had Colin Sherman with his Azuriani, host of the Best in Faction podcast. Tyler Bortle with Forces of the Hive Mind in second. Peter Akey with Azuriani in third. David Robson with Necrons in fourth. And Dakota Garber with Astra Militarum in fifth place, with Mor Eldari in sixth place, and then Knights Renegades in seventh, and Azurian again in eighth, and ninth, Iron Hands, and Adeptus Mechanicus in 10th. So, like, pretty much no Marines in the top 10 other than the one Iron Hand army in ninth place. Very interesting. Hello, Evan. Hello, Charles. Welcome, one and all, to the live stream. Interesting to see. I guess the meta might be a little different there, We got some chaos, we got lots of orcs, lots and lots of orcs, some Tau, like in the event, Ultramarines, like there's a decent amount of stuff, but there's a lot of orcs in there as well. Interesting. So I'm curious to see what, I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with flyers. But let's go top 3. So Peter, actually, no, let's do Necrons. I want to see, I'm just really curious, kind of like, let's take a little bit extra time. It's a very varied top 10, so I'm going to take a little bit extra time to talk about the top 10. So Adeptus Mechanicus was a bunch of Cataphren destroyers that were Ryza for the +1 damage, +1 to wound, +1 to hit, like that whole thing. A couple of ranger units, big unit of Castellan robots, which were, yes, Ryza as well for the extra +1 to hit. And then a Graia detachment with Scorpiuses. So very standard. Scorpiuses, couple of rangers, big unit of robots, big unit of Cataphren destroyers. Okay. Very susceptible to getting tagged in close combat and then lose, but that's not bad. Iron Hand list that was in the top 10. It was straight Iron Hands, not successes. I feel like successes do better overall at tournaments. Librarian, Iron Father, 2 units of intercessors, 1 unit of scouts, 2 Invictor suits, 1 Redemptor suit, a suppressor squad, and an eliminator squad. Lieutenant, Primaris Chaplain, Incursor, Scouts, Eliminators, and a Relic Leviathan Dreadnought, and 1 Impulsor. So the unkillable Relic Leviathan Dreadnought, a couple other things. I feel like he just needs more Eliminators in there. He only has the 2 units. He needs the 3 units. And he needs 1 big unit of Intercessors with Stalker Bolt Rifles. Hello, Tyler. Welcome. Okay, decent list. Jeremiah with Azuriani. Children of Cain and Headstrong, which is a custom craft world. Spirit Seer, Shining Spears, Swooping Hawks. Then Expert Crafters and Masters of Concealment. Skyrunner, Dire Avengers, Rangers, Crimson Hunter Exarch, and then a Spearhead with Expert Crafters, Masters of Concealment as well. Skyrunner, Fire Prism, Night Spinner, Crimson Hunter Exarch. So 3 flyers, Fire Prisms, a Night Spinner, couple of Dire Avengers, small little units, Rangers, some characters, some Swooping Hawks and Shining Spears for some like kicking power. Hello, Davis. How's it going? Okay, decent. Knights Renegades. Was it just Knights? 1 Knight Despoiler, their Iconoclast. Knight Despoiler with 2 Gatlings. Knight Despoiler with 2 Thermals. Knight Despoiler with Close Combat. Then another Iconoclast with a Castigator. A War Dog and 2 War Dog Moriaxes, which are the 4 jewel ones. So 4 big knights and 2 small knights. Oh, shudder. I would definitely be terrified of playing that. Not bad. He drew 1, lost 1. Nicholas Olsen. I've heard that name before. Eldari. Custom Craft World, Expert Crafters, and Masters of Concealment. That's reroll hit and wound, I think. And Masters of Concealment is counted in cover all the time. Autark Warlock, 3 units of 8 Storm Guardians, so cheap troops. Dedicated Transport, 3 Wave Serpents. Unkillable Transport still. Another battalion, same craft world, Farseer Warlock. Cool. 3 more units of Storm Guardians. I just noted that the Storm Guardians hey Ruben, how's it going? All the Storm Guardians have fusion guns. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fusion guns. With reroll hits, wounds, like with Expert Crafters, that's a lot of like melt guns. I think that's really cool because they're really cheap too. You get 2 fusion guns in a unit for 76 points. And 8 wounds. That's fantastic. Dedicated Transport, 2 more Wave Serpents. And then Inari did Supreme Command with a Skyrunner, Incarn, and a Vrain. It's just 5 Wave Serpents, a bunch of Guardians with Meltaguns, the Incarn, and Ivrain to do like psychic shenanigans, and an unkillable Autark Skyrunner with the bringing back command points probably. Hello, Michael Allen. Welcome. Cool. So that was an interesting list. And then we have Dakota Who did he lose against in his round 3? He lost against Brian Baker, who was running... Oh, Brian Baker didn't even make it to the top. He was running Iron Hands, so he lost to Iron Hands. Interesting. Then we had Dakota with his Astra Militarum. Hello. I thought it's nice to see Astra Militarum do decently well. They definitely have pizzazz, I want to say. It's a brigade detachment of catechins. So we have Aradia Medellin. What in the world? Is that like one of the Aradia Medellin 40k? She's the Primaris Psyker from Blackstone Fortress. Okay. And she basically has she's 4 wounds, Decent. She's a Primaris Psyker. She's Astrotelepathic or whatever. Okay. You can attempt to manifest one psychic power and attempt to deny one psychic power. She knows Smite and Psychic Augment, and Psychic Augment is a special psychic power. So it does a warp charge value of 8. Holy crap. If manifested, select a friendly Astromilitarum infantry unit within 12. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by that unit until the start of your next phase. So just +1 to hit for an Astromilitarum infantry unit. And you get that for, so +1 to hit psychic power for 40 points. That's not terrible. But of course, when you have a bunch of guardsmen, it's +1 to hit. It's not just in the shooting phase. Being that they're catachans, I can see the use of, because you blob the squads together, have a giant squad of infantry, and cast +1 to hit on them. So now they're hitting on 3s in close combat, and they're strength 4, and they can attack twice every turn with the order of attack in the shooting phase, which means that it's surprisingly a lot of damage. I can see how that would be very useful. Yep. It's cool when you see like little pieces of tech like that you don't see very many people use. 2 company commanders and 2 Primaris Psykers. Wow, she's cheaper than a regular Primaris Psyker with a 4-staff. That's cool. 6 infantry squads, just straight up. Then we have 5 Bulgrin with some slab shields. A priest, Sergeant Harker for reroll 1s. An armored sentinel. 2 Artemia Pattern Hellhounds, so the Forge Roll Hellhounds. 3 Basilisks, a Wyvern, and then another battalion detachment of just straight up Astromilitarum. Doesn't say what. With a points for an assassin, so there is a points for an assassin in there. The Pokeball Assassin making a comeback in a lot of lists, especially in the ones that aren't Space Marines. It's just Knight Commander Pask, so it'd be Cadian, a Tank Commander with a Battle Cannon, 3 more infantry squads. So basically 2 tank commanders, essentially. Interesting. Cool. That's 2,000 points on the nose. I like when people spend every point on a list. But you can see this list has a decent amount, like for the meta right now, a decent amount of screening units, ability to kill people in close combat, psychic support, character support, a bit of a bully unit in the Bulgrin to kind of hold the middle of the board, some Hellhounds and Sentinels to kind of harass, out of line of sight shooting, Basilisks and Wyverns, and then the tank commanders to really do some work like at range. So they're like mostly that's the anti-tank. However, it would fall through against like a heavy tank unit because all you have to do is kill the 2 tank commanders and that's it. Dead tank commanders equals dead army. Michael Allen going to start collecting Black Templars. Welcome, brother. Zeal. Bartos, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Okay, so that's a cool list. He's in 5th place. Then we have David Robson with his Necrons in 4th. Sotek, 3 Doom Scythes. Sotek, Cryptek, Stormlord, 5/5, 5 Immortals, 3 Scarabs, 6 Destroyers, 3 Doomsday Arcs, and then a Nephrek, 5 Destroyers. I'm assuming to deep strike them. That's it. 5 Destroyers, 3 Doomsday Arcs, 6 Destroyers, 3 Scarabs, 15 Immortals, Stormlord, Cryptek, 3 Doom Scythes. Very standard, straightforward. Elements of Necrons, they don't really change, sadly. But they're still really good. They just don't really change much. He lost his final game, I'm assuming, against Colin. Yep. He lost against Colin in the final round. And he only lost by 2 points. It was a 26-24. So he could have gone the whole way with his Necrons. This comes to show how, Necrons are one of those lists. If you're not ready for them, they can really get you. They can really get you if you're not ready. So, top 3 of the Stump Town Stomp. We had Peter Aki with his Azuriani, and his loss was in round 2 against Max, which wasn't in the top 10. But what did he run? He ran Expert Crafters and Masterful Shots with an Autark, Warlock, 3 Night Spinners. Cool. Lots of out of line of sight shooting, as we know that's super powerful in the meta at the moment. Hello, Jared. How's it going? Battalion Detachment with a Sky Runner, an Autark, a Farseer, and a Warlock. Okay, all Sky Runners. 2 units of fire of Dire Avengers and Rangers. A Hornet. Interesting. 8 Shining Spears in a big unit. And then a Wave Serpent. And then a Airwing Detachment of Expert Crafters and Masters of Concealment with 3 Crimson Hunt Exarchs. So 3 planes, a Wave Serpent, 8 Shining Spears. I find that Shining Spears are definitely making a comeback for Eldar lists because you can give them cool like bonuses to charge and things like that. And then you can get them in Deep Strike and really get in close and stuff. And I think that's really good. Night Spinners, a lot of Psychic support, a couple of Autarks, etc., etc. Good list. Then we had Forces of the Hive Mind, Tyler Bortal, with a Genestealer Cult and Tyranids. Yeah, Tyranids and Genestealer Cult. So the Tyranid detachment's the easy one. That's Kraken, Broodlord, Swarmlord, 18 Genestealers, 2 units of 3 Rippers. That's pretty standard Kraken detachment. Ripper Swarms, by the way, can move about 40 inches in a turn. So, you know, they will take that objective away from you if you're not careful. Just ask Dustin Henshaw. You know, send him a message. Hey, Dustin, how fast do your Ripper Swarms move? They move fast. Bo, how's it going? Hadegard. Then we have a Battalion Detachment. It's a mixed detachment with a Magus, a Patriarch, 10, 20, 30 Brood Brothers, a Kelemorph, a Sanctus. Then we have a Twisted Helix Battalion with an Anointed Throng, so that would be Aberrants for the cool Aberrants like stuff, like Fight Twice and whatnot. But you have 20 Flamer Acolytes, so Flamer Bomb, 7 Brood Brothers, 10 and 10, so that's 30, 50 Brood Brothers in general, 20 Flamer Bomb, 10 Aberrants, a Biophagus, a Clamavus, and an Exos. So pretty much all the characters, Kraken, Get in Your Face Genestealers, and some support. So decent list with all the characters, the Sanctus, the Kelemorph, all the stuff that can kill you. And last but not least, Colin Sherman. Congratulations to Colin. And what was he running? He ran a Craftworld Battalion, Expert Crafters and Masterful Shots, with a Farseer Skyrunner and a Warlock Skyrunner, 2 units of 5 Dire Avengers, 8 Storm Guardians with Chainswords, an Airwing detachment of Expert Crafters and Masters of Concealment with an Exarch, an Exarch, and an Exarch. They all have the Hawkeye power. Good morning, Mike. How's it going? Nice to see you. So they all have the Hawkeye Exarch power. Then a Spearhead detachment of Expert Crafters and Masterful Shots with another Autark, a Warlock, 5 Swooping Hawks, 10 Dark Reapers with a Tempest Launcher, and Rain of Death on the Exarch, 3 Night Spinners, 2 Wave Serpents. So the Wave Serpents to hide the Dark Reapers. I don't know why he needs a second Wave Serpent unless they're the exact same Masterful Shots Expert Crafters. Oh yeah, so he can hide the Dire Avengers or the Storm Guardians, or put one in Deep Strike or whatever. A couple of Wave Serpents to hide infantry, Night Spinners, Dark Reapers to shoot stuff out of line of sight, which is super important. Hello, Kit. Welcome. But that's a cool list. This has got it's varied. It's Wave Serpents. He's got the I think the Dark Reapers probably did a lot of work for him, and he basically played them really sneakily, like move out, shoot, fire and fade, do all that sort of thing. And of course, he still has the Exarchs, and he's got the Wave Serpents and the Night Spinners, which I find are the best. Night Spinners are great. So that's a good fun list. Good job, Colin. Congratulations. It was nice to see Eldar at the top of the totem pole for a change. A quick sip of tea. Today is a special day. It's hashtag thank you Patreon Day. So I did want to say a heartfelt thank you to all of you that are sitting down with me and that support the channel on Patreon. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So I am eternally humbled and grateful, and you could not know how much it means to me. Thank you very much. So the next in the series is the Armageddon series, Coastal Assault. Coastal Assault, which happened in Florida. Those Floridians always have a good amount of tournaments and events. Paul Murphy was actually there, host of Forge the Narrative, which was really, really fun to see him like tweeting and stuff of all that good stuff too. Jared says, technical issues this morning on my phone. I have you up on the big screen. Oh, yeah, big screen. Hey, Kyle. How's it going? I don't mind being on a big screen. That's right. I deserve to be on the big screen. So Daniel Smith in first place, Adeptus Astartes. Oh, here we go again. Second place, John Lennon, Adeptus Astartes. Third place, Paul Murphy, Iron Hands. Fourth, Mark Perry, Chaos. Yes. Fifth place, Dan Moonsalve with Eldari. Sixth place, John Moore with Tau. Seventh place, Lee Harris with Adeptus Astartes. Eighth, Richard Martin with Tau. Ninth, Cody Saltz with Imperium. And number 10, Chris Taylor with Drukhari. And then 11, Necrons. Then Imperial Fists, and then Imperium, and then Iron Hands, and then Imperium, and then Ultramarines, and then Chaos Demons, and then Chaos. And there's a lot of stuff, but it's Adeptus Astartes in 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the top 10. One's Imperium, 2 Tau, and then a couple of Eldar in there. One Chaos, one Eldari, one Drukhari. So decent like spread at the top, but definitely Space Marines dominating the meta in southern or in Florida. Leave it to the Florida man to let Space Marines go rampant. If it ain't an alligator. Okay, or an old person living in a retirement community. Can we do more Florida things? Okay. So I want to take a look at Chris Taylor's list. He did lose 2 games, and he lost round 1 against Mark Perry, who played Chaos. Ooh, he lost to Chaos. And then he played round 3. He lost to John Lennon. So he did lose to John Lennon. John Lennon went undefeated, but he drew 1 game. He drew his first game as well. David Beckers, hello, good morning. What did he bring? So he had a Black Heart Battalion, 2 Archons, 1, 2, 3, 4 Cabalite Warriors with Blasters, 3 Ravagers, Disintegrators, 4 Venoms. Cool. Then a battalion detachment of Prophets of Flesh, Homunculus Urian, 3 units of 5 Racks, 1 unit of Grotesques, 1 unit of Talos, and then an auxiliary support detachment of a Dark Creed Reaper. So the Sniping Reaper, 1 unit Talos, 1 unit Grotesque, a couple of Racks. I feel like he would have done better to just make that Reaper another unit of Talos. Like tweak it and take the 2 units of 3 Talos. I think that would have been a better choice. And no planes. I like the planes. You're missing out, man. Those planes are too good not to use. Okay, interesting. So let's look at your top. Oh man, there's top 3. Space Marines. Wow. But let's take a look at them. Paul Murphy with his Iron Hands. By the way, this was a 44-person GT, but 5 rounds. So Paul Murphy with his Iron Hands. He was running straight Iron Hands, Captain on a bike, Lieutenant, 2 units of Intercessors with Stalkers, 2 scout squads, 2 Invictor suits with the Incendium, so the Flamer, a Relic Contemplar Dreadnought with 2 Sea Beams, a la Hello Derek, 2 Sea Beams, kind of like a gym vessel thing, 3 Thunderfire Cannons, because every Space Marine list should start with 3 Thunderfire Cannons. Chapter Approved doesn't take a look at those. I don't know what will. 2 Impulsors, 1 with a missile array, and 1 with 2 with a missile array. Yep. 2 missile arrays on them. And then an Iron Hands flyer detachment of 2 Stormhawk interceptors and 2 Storm Talon gunships. So the flyers, the Thunderfire cannons, and then basically the filler. Yep, and he can hide his stuff in the impulsors. So he can hide his intercessor squads in the impulsors. The scouts can infiltrate. The invictors walk around or put pressure on you. The relic sits in the backfield shooting your chaff if anything shows its face. And then the flyers get up and just destroy you. That's it's a pretty fun list. I've actually saw him painting it and stuff. He did a lot of work on it, so it looked really cool. John Lennon, his first game he drew against Brian Dorsal. And Brian, where is Brian Dorsal? Come on, Brian. Oh, did he? Yeah, he was up there somewhere. I really want to see what tied or what drew John Lennon's. Brian. There we go. Oh, he dropped out after 3 rounds. So he ties John Lennon, loses, wins, and he was playing Iron Hands. Okay. And then he drops. He only played 1 day. Boo. Boo. Iron Hand, Pharaohs, Captain, 3 units of intercessors, an aggressor squad, 5 aggressors, Relic Leviathan Dreadnought, Thunderfire Cannon, Librarian Lieutenant, Intercessors, 2 Scouts, Mortis Dreadnought with 2 twins, Relic Leviathan Dreadnought, Thunderfire Cannon. So 2 Thunderfire Cannons, Relic Dread, 4 Last Cannon Dreadnought, Infantry, tons of stuff, big unit, 2 Leviathans, yeah, a big unit of aggressors. I could see the Leviathans being really good, so you can kind of murder all those crazy Centurions and stuff, 2 damage a pop. Yeah, they're only minus, was it -1 or -2? I think they're -2 because they're the shorter, killier range. Cool. But John Lennon was playing, I believe, a pretty standard list that he's sort of developed for Space Marines. And the mixed lists, I think, will take a lot from John Lennon because he's doing so well. So when you see a list, there's a lot of tricks, the White Scars especially, and now with the new Psychic Awakening, Faith and Fury, the ability to get like chaplains that can allow you to reroll wounds in close combat, and librarians that can basically pick and choose psychic powers from any of the trees they have access to. So you imagine, a Phobos librarian can pick, like a Phobos master librarian could pick psychic powers from the Phobos tree, from the regular Space Marine tree, from their chapter tree, right? So then they can know extra powers. So you can have like the best power from each tree, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. So we have a captain, a chaplain on a bike. These are White Scars. In a battalion, 3 units of scouts with combat knives, then another battalion of White Scars with a captain with a jump pack storm shield. So 2 smash captains. A librarian and Terminator armor because of the invul and deep strike. Intercessor squads. So 3 intercessor squads. Then 2 units of centurions. 1 just has assault launchers and flamers, and 1 has hurricanes and flamers. And they are 1, 2, 3, so 5 in each. That's 10 Centurions. Then a Iron Hand Successor Chapter, Master Artisan Stealthy with a Chaplain. A heavy support choice of 3 Eliminator Squads and a Mortis Pattern Dreadnought. You can turn into a character Dreadnought with last cannon, so you can't shoot him. And then 2 Thunderfire Cannons. So 2 Thunderfire Cannons, 3 units of Eliminators, which are really, really good. The Mortis Dreadnought to do some long range anti tank. You can't target him because he's a character. A Chaplain, for the extra, like you can give him +2 to charge on his Centurions and whatnot. The Centurions that he can kind of do a whole bunch of shenanigans with. Remember, even though they have a 4-inch move, they have like a 20 to 30-inch threat range. So don't forget that. And then Intercessors, a Librarian, Scouts. And so he's got characters that do damage. He's got, yeah, it's a very well-rounded list. But I could see how Leviathan Dreadnoughts would have been a little bit of an issue because the Thunderfire Cannons could slow down his Centurions, and then the Leviathan Dreadnoughts can murder everything he has in his list, really. And it's hard to snipe Iron Hands characters when they have all these really cool like feel no pain saves and all that good stuff. Then we have Daniel Smith. Now Daniel Smith did run his Adeptus Astartes to the tournament. He did go undefeated, and he was running Iron Hands in the Spearhead detachment, a Primaris Librarian with 3 Eliminator squads and 3 Thunderfire cannons. It's pretty standard stuff. I feel like every Space Marine list would start with something like that. Just 3 and 3. And that literally, that detachment is less than 500 points. Is less than 600 points, sorry. It's crazy. You still have 1,400 points to play with after you put in 3 Eliminator squads, 3 Thunderfire cannons, and a captain. Like, that's amazing. An Air Wing detachment of Iron Hands with 3 Stormhawk interceptors with assault cannons, storm cannons, and heavy bolters. So the cheap version, but it's 3 Stormhawk interceptors. They get +1 to, they get an extra -1 to hit when they're getting targeted by stuff that flies, and they're all over the place. They got lots of shots. They're pretty nasty. And then another Iron Hands detachment. So this is an Iron Hands army. This is not an Adeptus Astartes army. It's Iron Hands. It is a captain on a bike, Thunderhammer Storm Shield, Iron Father, Pharaohs, a unit of Intercessors, 5-man, 2 Scout Squads, 5-man, a Mortis Dreadnought with 2 Twin Last Cannons, the character Snipey Dreadnought, and a Repulsor Executioner. So Repulsor Executioner, so you can hide the Intercessor Squad in there, and Iron Father Pharaohs, or the Primaris Librarian, so you can like lower his drop count. A Mortis Dreadnought, a couple of Scout Squads, Intercessors, a bunch of Flyers, and then the Thunderfire Cannons and Eliminators to just murder you while you try to get to him. Yeah, very straight. There's no, like, the thing about Space Marines is it's not really any sort of tricksy stuff in like an Iron Hands list. It's literally, you put it on the table, and it's so hyper efficient that it's just going to do its job. And you know, the subtlety of playing that list comes from just deploying properly and things like that. So let me know what you think of this list down below. But that was the Armageddon series all the way in Florida. They seem to have sort of like a major or a GT like every single weekend, which is kind of cool, especially if you're looking for like ITC points. You get a lot of practice that way as well. And last but not least, we have Twisted Onslaught. Now, I did talk about the winter, the ETC, the Winter Team Championships that happened. It was like 20-some teams, full teams from a bunch of different European countries. And Poland did take the win, and Spain came in second. And they were running the old ETC, the ETC format from this year at ETC. But if you guys would like some more ETC coverage, you know, leave a comment, let me know as well as it goes. And the Twisted Onslaught is done by Twisted Dice, so that's Ace Face and the crew, which is pretty cool. They did have a grand total of 30 people at the GT, and it was a 6-round tournament, which is fabulous. In first place, we had William McKinstry with his Tau. We had Joshua Conant with his Genestealer Cult. Tristan Whitehead with his Imperial Fists. Ken Chambers with Tau in 4th. Jonathan Jones in 5th with his Raven Guard. James Pilkington with Imperium in 6th. And Daniel Hammond, Adeptus Mechanicus in 7th. John Spence with White Scars in 8th. James Marsden with Black Templars, yeah, in 9th place. And then Jack Tite in 10th with his Orcs. It's cool to see the Tau Empire in there, but top 3, totally different. Tau, Genius of the Occult, Imperial Fists. So nice to see like a cool little mix. And I know Imperial Fists are definitely seeing sort of like a resurgence, especially in Europe at the time. So let's kind of take a look at what that list was. Tristan, and his only loss came at the hands in round 2 of Simon Chatterley. And Simon Chatterley was playing Iron Hands. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so Imperial Fists. We have a battalion detachment of Imperial Fist successors. It just says Imperial Fist successor. Imperial Fist successor. With no traits. There aren't any traits, so maybe it was just like straight up Imperial Fist successor, like using just all the Imperial Fist rules. It's got a chaplain with the jump pack and a plasma pistol, because we all need plasma pistols in our lives. A chapter master in Gravis armor with the Vox Spiritum, and he is a warlord. 3 intercessor squads with Stalker Bolt rifles, a scout squad. Stern Guard veteran squad, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So 10 of them just with the special issue bolt gun. A Terminator squad with a sergeant, just 5 guys, an assault cannon. Okay. A Devastator squad with a cherub, and then a sergeant and 4 guys with heavy bolters. A Predator. This is like a blast from the past. Hunter Killer Missile Stormbolter Twin Last Cannon. So a last pred. When have you ever heard the words last pred come out of a top 3 at a GT before? Storm Talon Gunship. Storm Talon Gunship. Cool. A Vanguard detachment of Imperial Fist successors. It is the Siege Breaker cohort with 1 lieutenant. An Apothecary. A Primaris Ancient. A Redemptor Dreadnought with Gatling Cannon. And another Redemptor Dreadnought with Gatling Cannon. A Siege Breaker cohort with the Redemptor Dreadnoughts. I wonder if the Redemptors get the Siege Breaker cohort. I mean, they must get the Siege Breaker thing. Unless he's just taking it for like a relic or something. But normally you see a giant unit of Centurion Devastators. But he has like no Primaris things. 1 Primaris Ancient. Is that the only Primaris thing in this? Oh no, and then the Redemptors. Okay, so wham. But the Ancient is an interesting choice considering it's just like veterans and stuff that can use it. Huh, okay. Interesting. That's definitely like a different. There's not even like a drop pod or anything in there to like, teleport the veterans. Nothing. It's just like they're on foot. And a Predator. Some Terminators that he can deep strike. Like it doesn't seem like you must be a crazy good player to play with something like that. Very interesting. Then we have Joshua with his Gene Stealer Cult. His only loss of the event came on round 4 against James Pilkington. James was running Imperium. And he was running an Imperium list that was Vestroyan, lots of tank commanders, Caladius Grav tanks, and a Telemon. So some Custodes in there as well, and a Crest Crusader. So a pretty decent, yeah. So his only loss came to like Caladius tanks, which can really screen out Gene Stealer Cult. Well, hello Paul, hello Dan, hello Martin, welcome, all of you. So Joshua's list was a twisted helix battalion, anointed throng, Patriarch Primus, 30 Brood Brothers, 20 Aberrants, Nexos Clamavus. Excellent. Then a Gene Stealer Cult battalion, Brood Surge. This is for the Acolytes, remember? The Brood Surge for Acolytes, anointed thongs for the Aberrants. Haha. Magus. And this is a mixed detachment. Acolyte Icon Ward. 30 Acolytes. 2 units of 15. One has 15 hand flamers and 4 rock swords, and one has 4 rock swords, 10 brood brothers, and then a bladed cog battalion with a patriarch, a jackal alphas, and then 40 neophytes with 2 webbers and 2 mining lasers in each one. I can't believe that 10 neophytes with 2 webbers and 2 mining lasers are 76 points for 2 last cannons and 2 flamers. That is crazy. Imperial Fists and Salamander's FAQs are up now that we're talking about tactical stuff. We'll kind of go through them at the end of the video. I don't think there's been a Phoenix Rising FAQ yet. It's bound to show up at some point. So that's Joshua's list. Very standard, sort of like Gene Steel Cult list. And then we have the Tau detachment that won it all over the pond in England. Twisted Onslaught 2. William McKinstry with his Tau. He's running a Tau Sept Spearhead with a Commander, Cold Star with Fusion Blasters, Long Strike, 3 Hammerhead gunships with, 3 Hammerhead, heavy Hammerhead gunships with the Smart Missile System, 3 Hammerhead gunships, with ion cannons. Then a Tau Empire with Farsight Enclaves, Commander, Cold Star, 4 Fusions with the Shield Drone. Interesting. 3 Skyray gunships, and an Airwing detachment, Farsight Enclaves, with 3 Sunshark bombers. Wow, that's a scary list. That's very like what Devon used to run, but instead of it all being Tau, he has like almost no Markalite support. However, he's got the Hammerheads, he has Long Strike, so like the 4 of those. He has a Cold Star Commander Fusions, and he's got a command. So it's like, this is a nasty. But having played against a list like this list is harder to play than Devon's list, like to play against, because it has no squishy chaff. So you don't have the Fire Warriors, you don't have like really any of the drones. I think he's got 1 shield drone in there. But the whole point is you're not going to be able to shoot the characters anyway. If he needs to, he can deep strike the characters. I do feel like he needs Grek in here. Grek is one of the best things, but like this list, if it goes first, it'll just crush you. Like it'll just sit there and blow you off the table. Even if it goes second. And those bombers are incredibly annoying. I'm not surprised he did well. So congratulations to William. So that is the end of some of the main events on Best Coast pairings. So as it stands, right now in the meta, some of the new combos, especially from Faith and Fury, you can expect, is going to be Alpha Legion, Night Lords, things that can shut down your characters and auras and whatnot. And I think that's going to make a big deal competitively. As well, there's a lot of ways to tie up your screens in close combat if you decide to screen with stuff. So Black Templars have a way of tying up screens. A couple of the Chaos Space Marine legions have ways to essentially stop you from falling back from combat as well. So I feel like it's going to definitely be an interesting shakeup in the meta, and I really sort of like that a lot as well. Hello, Peter Smith. How's it going? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Let's go to the Warhammer community phase, and we'll just quickly go to the FAQs here. And this is your live tactical discussion. We'll go over the FAQs as they stand right now. Recently updated. What? Did they put them on the main Warhammer community page? I don't see them up here. Unless they're on the Facebook page. Unless they're on the Facebook page. Which they might be. Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer. Huh? Yes, posts. Aha! Yeah, that's weird. I literally went to the page, they weren't there, but now they are. So let's go to the salamanders one. um, it has been apparent that the self-sacrifice stratagem can be used in ways we had not intended, essentially making a whole army, at least a great portion of it, untargetable for a turn. Though the stratagem in question is being played rules as written, on this occasion is clearly not something we ever intended. The intention of the stratagem is to enable a squad of salamanders to bravely protect an ally from harm by using their own bodies as shields. It was not meant to be used to make it so no shots could be fired at your army at all. As a result, we felt it was important to rectify that stratagem as part of this errata. Rather than wait for the next online balance changes, this is not something we do lightly. It's something. So they did change the stratagem. Cool. So first and foremost, the fires of battle. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by a weapon, an unmodified wound roll of a 4 suffers 1 mortal wound. Additionally, damage max of 3 mortal wounds can be inflicted per phase via the stratagem. Okay, so it's like you can't do unlimited mortal wounds with your flamers. Imperial armor. Following weapons should also be considered to be flame weapons. So Infernus Cannon, Dreadnought Inferno Cannon, Burning Wrath. So like the Relic, I'm assuming, is also a flamer. Self-sacrifice, change the stratagem to read. So this is probably the biggest change here. Use the stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select one Salamander's infantry unit that contains 5 or more models from your army that is not within 1 inch of any enemy models, and then select one other infantry unit from your army that is wholly within 6 inches of the selected unit. Until the end of the phase, your opponent cannot target the second unit you selected unless that unit is the closest enemy unit to the firing model visible to it, or is no longer wholly within 6 inches of the first unit you selected. In addition, until the end of the phase, the first unit you selected is always an eligible target for enemy shooting attacks provided it's within range and visible, i.e., it can be targeted even whilst under the effects of any rules that would prevent it from targets, such as the shrouding psychic power. Cool. So they just changed it so it's not completely broken. I'm glad. Stand your ground does not affect invulnerable saving throws. Ah, sad face. Can I use the Born Protector stratagem to fire Overwatch with another unit if being charged is unable to do so? Yes. If I use the Strength of the Primate stratagem, damage characteristic would be 9. Ugh. If you use it on a model equipped with the Drake Smiter relic, damage characteristic of 9. Get out of here. That's terrifying. Change your short order, then change it back. Will sometimes refresh the page. Okay, cool. So let's go to the Imperial Fists. So Salamanders, yeah, I'm glad they changed that stratagem personally. That was definitely not something that was intended. Shield Unwavering is the changing the stratagem. At the end of your morale phase, select an Imperial Fist infantry unit within 3 inches of an objective marker. Until the start of your next turn, add 1 to the attacks. And when resolving an attack made against that unit, add 1 to the saving throw, not invulnerable saves. Okay, so you can't boost your invulnerable saves. Well, there goes my Thunderhammer Storm Shield +1 saves idea. And then we have Vigilus Defiant Errata. The Imperial Fist Siegebreaker Horde, add the following text. If you have created your army using the additional rules found in Imperial Fists, you cannot select the Eye of Hypnoth relic or the Indomitable Warlord trait. They are replaced with a new relic and new warlord trait with the same names in Codex Imperial Fists. Okay. Seismic Devastation. Change the last sentence trying to read. Each time you roll an unmodified wound roll of a 6 for an attack made by that unit that targets an enemy vehicle that phase, that attack inflicts a mortal wound in addition to its normal damage. I guess it's not against buildings anymore. FAQs. Can an Imperial Fist success chapter use the Imperial Fist Siegebreaker cohort? No, this stratagem is not for an Imperial. This stratagem is not an Imperial Fist stratagem. Ah, makes sense. So if you're, you can't use that sort of thing. Interesting. So pretty decent, you know. Doesn't seem like it would have been like too much of a crazy idea. All right, so I'm going to open the floor to any questions. If you have any questions, please throw them into the chat now before we finish up. So right now, the meta itself is continuing to look like it's very heavy in the Space Marines. However, we're starting to see other lists starting, like, now that we're getting a sort of like a standardized, I want to say standardized Space Marine sort of army coming out of the woodwork. So you've got the Thunderfire cannons, you have the Eliminators as like standards, you've got a couple of flyers, sometimes you have dreadnoughts or repulsors, and then you've got like primaries. So you're starting to see the same sort of elements getting duplicated. So it's going to be a lot easier for armies to now make tactical decisions in list building based on what they're expected to see in the meta. So that's always going to be good. And it's nice to see Tau still at the top there, some new sort of like Azuriani things coming out of the woodwork with a lot of Wave Serpents and still the Flyers, but using a lot of the new rules from Psychic Awakening. Robert, I'm having a great day. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And that's definitely something that is important to me, to see like variety at the top. Genius Steel Cult still actually doing well, and I feel that's because Space Marines are sort of moving away from infiltrators. So then they have the odd infiltrator unit in here, but not enough to really stop Genius Steel Cult and Gene Stealers from really going up and doing damage. And we have our first question from Robert. It says, how will the Sisters of Battle stand up to the metata? The metata. So I think they're going to have really cool tools. I don't have the rules on me, so I cannot make any judgment calls. I feel like they're going to have lots of tricks. Like Sisters of Battle are going to be one of those armies that is going to get up in your face, close and personal. You know, they're not known to have like lots of survivability. So I feel like they're going to be Death Watch survivable, you know, with like a bunch of dudes with like invulnerable saves and just ways to shrug off damage and whatnot, without the ability to do that much firepower. So not as much firepower as Death Watch, survivability of like Death Watch, but some cool tricksy stuff like Death Watch. So they'll be able to like come back to life and, you know, that sort of thing, which would be interesting. Kit has a question, says, can see Haywire bikes plug in having big come with all the vehicles? Can see Haywire bikes having a big comeback with all the vehicles. Yes, definitely. Didn't understand that. Yes, Haywire bikes are going to be, they've started to be good, and they've always been good. I think they're still really useful. Personally, I like Dreaming Shadow, because then when they die, they can shoot still. So you can kill other bikes and things like that, and I think that's very important. However, anything with Haywire is always useful. The Space Marines, of course, have the 5-up invulnerable say, or 5-up feel no pains against Haywire, like most Imperial armies have that rule. So we'll kind of see how that works. Davis has a question. He says, which of these new rules do you think is the biggest? Alpha Legion Warlord trait -1 to hit. Iron Warriors Warlord trait. Iron Warriors infantry near the Warlord treat all shots against them as AP 0 while they're in cover. Night Lord's Vox Scream stratagem, turning off auras. I think the Night Lord's Vox Scream is definitely the biggest. Anything that shuts off like friendly auras, like a lot of people use that Chapter Master to, you know, for example, I'm using Chapter Master specifically because, you know, Astra Militarum, Adeptus Mechanicus with Cole, you know, anything, Eldar with their rerolls, whatever. Being able to shut off like a Chapter Master is huge. Huge. You know, when a Space Marine has to stick with what they rolled first, their math changes drastically. That's the most powerful of all those. However, the Alpha Legion Warlord trait of -1 to hit, combined with the Relic of -1 to hit, means that your Warlord is -2 to hit. Then you can do the -1 to hit Priest Canticle, like the Apostle, so it's -3 to hit, and then there's a Psychic power, right? So you can actually have like an Alpha Legion guy get like super minus to hit, and that is pretty nasty. You know, like a Marcus Zinch Alpha Legion Demon Prince can be -4 to be hit, which means he's going to be nigh invincible, which is pretty crazy. So I think that's going to be interesting. Oh, or Alpha Legion Disco Lords. There you go. Both of them -3 to hit. Oh, that's dangerous. Plus, you have the Alpha Legion. If you're out of 12, you get an additional -1 hit, right? Is that how that works still? Yeah. Yeah. So definitely you can make it super hard to kill people. Like, yeah, it stops the alpha strike, you know. Yeah, definitely. I like it. Yeah, outside of 12. So that's an additional -1 to hit. It's crazy. Mike says, which Chaos Space Marine faction do you expect to see the most competitive increase from Faith and Fury? I think Chaos Space Marines in general, just Chaos. I think we're going to see a lot of Alpha Legion Night Lords because of the tactical implications. I've seen a lot of talk about World Eaters because of their ability to have very, very cheap tons and tons of attacks. But really because of the tactical implications of like tournament play, Alpha Legion and Night Lords I think are going to be the most prevalent. Okay, folks. So that is it for the live video. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Tactical Meta Tuesday or Meta Monday analysis. As I like to say, it's TMT. It's dynamite. Ha. And I will see you all next week. A huge shout out to all of you guys out there. It's hashtag Thank You Patreons Day. I will be doing a draw, a giveaway for the Patreons, where I'll be giving away a Battle Force box to a lucky winner. Haven't done that in a while, so I thought I'd do that for Thank You Patreons Day. Okay. Other than that, thank you so much. Have a good day. Have a good night, wherever you are in the world. I am Skari, your grateful host, signing off. Until next time, Skari out. Bye, everybody.